Now we're going to go to you, Frank.
Yes.
Frankie just got here.
Yeah.
Frankie is from
Dallas.
Dallas. Just
Good old
arrived
BMW.
in this polar vortex, arrived at LaGuardia a couple of hours
Yeah, a
ago.
couple of hours ago. It was great. No vortex is going to stop me. I'm built to survive a vortex. So I was ready. Packed up my arms, prepared. Got
Excellent.
Yes.
And so where I want to start with you, Frankie, is speaking about excavating and using aspects of personal or family history in work. I know that your play, which Even Flowers Bloom in Hell sometimes, which we were introduced to through our Playwrights Week process in just a few months ago. It feels like I've been here for a while.
Right?
Just in November of last year, is rooted in a lot of complicated personal personal dynamics, and questions and emotional conversations.
Yeah.
I'd love to just open by asking you about what the genesis of the play was.
All right, so I had the wonderful blessing of having very few male figures in my life. The only male figures that I actually really had a hand in my development as an individual, as a human being, and even as an artist, were incarcerated. And much of my childhood, for honest gosh, until about 2017, was spent inside visiting rooms, visiting with men who, family relations, they were swept up by the drug laws, RICO laws, whatever, different ones. And it was always a wonderful, wonderful experience for me personally, because it was the only time that I ever got to really commune with males outside of my brother, with fellow men. And they would always, it'd be the most interesting thing in the world. I'm gonna cry. Because they were for anyone on the outside, before coworkers, even professors at school, they were like, wow, you wanna write plays? Yes, so, I'm so proud of you, yes. I'm gonna write those plays, write them. You write poetry? Okay, that's good too. Look, come here, come over here. He was worth $5 million once. He's writing plays, and it's like, and it was always this wonderful thing, meeting all of these really tough men. They're like, wow, you write plays, or you wanna write stories. That's amazing, that's, wow, tell me about them. And I self-published a book, and for some odd reason, I sold well with prisons. And I had to make sure they weren't stapled, and all these different things, and it was always, and for me, the thing is that as I wrote, you actually kind of touched on it yourself, Rajiv, I was a very boring writer for a very long time, where I would write these little exercises in exploring Pinter's language or Beckett and all of that, and I realized at one point after my son was born, and now I'm this guy who was raised by no man, having to raise a son. I gotta figure this out. I gotta write this, and I gotta write this for them, because right before my grandfather was released, he told me that he told me 19 years and it was wasted. You bought that kid for what? What was it worth? And I was like, I wrote this for you, man. I wrote this for all of you. The three men who I call my saints, mis santos, that they believed in me before anyone ever believed in me. Whenever anyone would say, quit, you're never gonna be a writer, you're never gonna be an artist, they said, keep writing. Just as long as you're not in the streets, go to school. I don't care if you're doing theater. You're at school, you're gonna get a degree. You got a degree. I'm proud of you. And it's like, they were the most wonderful, wonderful men. And some of the things that you get from men in prison, these are some of the wisest, smartest individuals. If you want to fix the U.S. economy, ask some of them. Ask some of those guys in there. I swear to God, they made an economy out of mackerels and ramen. It's an amazing thing. It's a thing. Like getting the call, it's like, okay, I need you to put some money in the commissary because the mackerel's on special right now. So it was like, and it became a commodity. And so I had to write this because otherwise they're erased. Most of the men that I had gone visiting have been deported. They're no longer in this country, and I will more than likely not get to see them too many more times before they pass. And so I wrote this as an enduring tribute, a love letter to them. I wrote it to them, and the experiences in that I listened, I heard, and I hope that I did you proud, guys.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, like one of the things I admire so much about this play is, like as you were saying about, like, and it relates to, like when you're talking about what was it worth, like when you're talking about value, like the specter of policy and the prison-industrial complex. It's a specter in the play, but it's not, like the play is about people building community, finding love, developing relationships, creating economies within the circumstances they're in. And the question of value is not explored through through like a broader political construct, but in just those intimate relationships. And it's an incredibly powerful way to do it. Yet there are moments where we do zoom out, and one of them, I know that the excerpt you've chosen speaks to some of these, like just statistical hard facts. I get very moved by just your articulation, not just in the play, but in the way you talk about the play, and how it's influenced your own life, your own relationships, your own world. And I'm wondering, like, based on that feeling, like, how has that changed the way you relate, that you're relating to your future work, or what you're working on? So,
right. In having written this, there came this big click for me, and then I realized that as I was being told by many people, sometimes in private, and even here during Playwrights Week, hey, I have this person, I have this person, I have this, I've seen this, and it became something that was so pervasive that it was like, wow, how many people got truly actually wiped out by this entire thing, starting out with those 80s drug laws and everything. How many, to me, it became one of those concerns, because that means that, to my mind, at that point in my understanding of the world, there is an entire generation of men and women who have been either culturally, emotionally, or spiritually decimated or removed from society, and there is an entire generation of children, now young adults, who have had to navigate the world without familial relations, not just fathers, but uncles, cousins, siblings, nephews, whatever it may be. It's touched all. As I've continued forward in my work, I want to explore those things, those people that have essentially been erased or have made these sacrifices, because oftentimes we resort to crime because of an absence of any opportunity to do anything else to better ourselves and better our position and better the positions of our loved ones, particularly, especially when it comes to children. And my next play, actually, I promised you I would send it, but I'm so ashamed of it so far. It's actually about an undocumented immigrant who finds out that he's going to get deported. He was brought here when he was very young. He doesn't know any Spanish, and his only way out is through an EB-1 visa, which is the genius visa, that you have to prove that you are a talent above all talents, and the only way that he's going to do that as a boxer is by getting the world title. And so to get the world title, you have to fight a lot. Like you actually have, the intricacies of boxing is stupid, but he fights 10 times in 1 year, breaks down his body so that he can get his mandatory shot, and he goes for it. And I'm interested in those stories. I'm interested in those ideas and those people, because these are universal stories. What man what woman, what person wouldn't do that to stay with their family, to stay in the place that they call home? What fight wouldn't you take up to have a better life for yourself? What wouldn't you do? And that really, that's thematically how it ties into Even Flowers, is that as far as I'm concerned, the men that I love, the only men that were ever participatory in my life, did what they did, and they did it so that at the very least for a little bit of time before they were taken away, I could eat. And I don't blame them for that. I don't blame people for moving to where it's safe, or moving to where their children have the best opportunity. That's what I would do as a father, any day of the week, any day of the year. It doesn't matter, I will do it. And those are the people I want to explore, because most of the times they die, or they disappear forever. They're gone, they get lost in the system. They're sent back to a country where they become anonymous forever. And those are the people that I want to give life to, because quite frankly, they have no advocacy. They're people without country. They're people oftentimes who lose their names, or when they come here, they try to take on American names so that they can blend in a little more easily, or to go into even deeper things in Latin America, like colorism, where there are actual people that pray, "Ay, por favor, sale como blanquito, sale, come out white. Please, get that Spanish blood." And like, I'm the only one that got this skin tone between my mother, my brother, my grandmother, and it's just like, "Ay, Dios," and to hear, it's like, look, no one's gonna question you. No one's gonna. Those are stories that I feel are very important to tell, and they connect whether it's immigration or the carceral system. It's an entire generation of people that have disappeared, and I want to bring them back.